it is time to close on this beautiful home. This is 3109 Gazebo Point Way. We're in a gated community in South Knoxville, and we are literally on the water. See, there's the water. And it's got a 30-foot boat slip. So this house is super specific. You've got a clubhouse, there's a pool, there's a gym in there, and then this, like I said, this neighborhood is literally down the street and around the corner. That's all it is. So it's a very small neighborhood. So anyways, let's talk about the details of getting this home sold. Okay, so this house is beautiful. Plus it has a boat slip. Plus it's literally on the water. Plus that if you wanted to be in the Vol Navy, you could totally take your boat from here to the Vol Navy. No big deal. It's built in 2020 and it's literally one of a kind. The other homes in this neighborhood are not as new. They're not as large. And so that kind of actually ended up kind of being a negative thing because there was really no comp for this home. So in terms of pricing it, stuff on the water in this area goes quite high, but there was nothing really else like this. And you would think like, okay, that means there's a huge buyer pool. But what we found out as we were going through showings is that buyers wanted a main level primary bedroom. All of the bedroom, well, there's 4 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bedroom here on this main floor, and then another in the basement. So essentially that's the primary pushback we got. The other pushback we got on this house was that essentially the neighborhood was too small, which we can't change the neighborhood. We can't change the bedroom situation, which meant the only thing we can change, if we can't change condition, we shifted price. And then in terms of marketing, of course, we did mailers. I put this on the back of a magazine called Haven Magazine, so it showed up several places there. We had, of course, the listing video. We had the listing tour. We had tons of social media. We had several open houses, which actually 2 viable buyers did come through an open house, but again, they wanted a main level primary bedroom. So anyways, this house is gorgeous. It looks so different without the furniture, but it's so huge. 6 bedrooms. I mean, it's very specific, but also we did have 2 people come through with families that had smaller children, but they wanted more of like a neighborhood rather than just like a street. So anyways, that being said, we did all of our traditional marketing. It took a bit longer, honestly, to sell than I thought it was going to take, just because to me, I think this house is literally magical. But what we came to find out is it was a very specific buyer that wanted something very specific. So anyways, that is some of the details. Of course, as I mentioned, all of our traditional marketing. When it comes to negotiations of list price, we negotiated price, and then from there, the buyers, of course, had their home inspection. That's actually what I'm here today doing, is just finalizing, making sure all of our repair requests were completed. And yeah, the buyers will do their final walkthrough today. As you can see, the sellers are completely out. And you can see like things like the curtains are here because those are, of course, are a fixture, etc. And they were not, the sellers didn't keep those as a part of the deal. So anyways, congrats to everyone involved. This was a very interesting one because while we had quite a bit of interest, this is the office. I love this office. While we had a lot of interest in this house, what became clear was that, number one, the primary bedroom not being on this floor was huge negative to many buyers, even though there is an elevator, and people didn't care. They wanted the primary bedroom on this floor. So despite the fact that there is an elevator, it is accessible. People, was not enough, essentially. And then that was, the main issue. And then people with small children, they wanted more of like a neighborhood. So anyways, that being said, there's my little baby right there. This is one of her first closing, so that's exciting. But anyways, I mean, I love this house. And we did everything we could. We did mailers. We put it on the back of a magazine. So we really pushed the marketing for this home, and then had a couple open houses. But overall, we did do a broker's open and had a couple agents come through there. But yeah, I mean, for me, this was interesting because, like I said, this just showed you there's a very small buyer pool for this type of property. And then also this idea about the main level master for this type of property as well ended up being a huge hindrance. So that being said, we are closing. It is selling. And I mean, this is a great location long-term. This is a still of a deal in terms of what this is as South Knoxville continues to grow. It's a kind of can't go wrong property, especially with the 30-foot boat slip. I mean, it's got all of this amazing stuff to it. So, and it's was built in 2020. So it's, 6 years old as of this year. It's March 2026 now as I'm making this video. So that is kind of the details behind this property. This property was an interesting one, again, to price because, again, there was nothing else to comp within the neighborhood. There are some townhouses, and then there's some houses across the street that are much smaller, that are not a comp, that we're selling for a lot less square footage and also don't have the deed of boat slips. So anyways, we priced it where we thought was comparable. Actually, I tend to be very conservative with pricing. I thought we could have priced this one higher. And that was a miss on my part because what we found out is people wanted that main level master. We can't change that. That doesn't happen. So the only thing we can change, therefore, is the price. So anyhow, that is the story of 3109 Gazebo Point Way. Congrats to everyone involved. I'm Haley Jones. If you have a home to buy or sell in the Knoxville and East Tennessee area, I would love to work with you, and I'll see you next time.